Welcome to Two Doctors Homestead. My name's Daniel, and we have our special guest, Jason, Army nurse and D&P in training, going to school to become a doctorate nurse practitioner. And we want to talk about gunshot wounds. Right. I've been shot before. We got a group of guys. We all hang out. Everyone seems like everyone's been shot at least once. But we all got to go to the hospital. So you get shot, it hurts, then the ambulance shows up, you get to go to the hospital. So I wanted to just talk about how you would treat the gunshot wound on the spot, but then what if? What if it's the apocalypse, Shtf, zombies, you're in the woods, and you don't get to go to a hospital? What are some things you might want to do to survive that situation?
So it's all varying on where you get shot, right?
Right.
So if you're shot in the arm, depends on how high it is. So if you're shot in the arm, you want a tourniquet immediately. Okay, because you want to see where all that bleeding, and you want to stop the bleeding.
Right.
Okay. Shot in the leg, again, you want a tourniquet, and just to stop the bleeding before you do any other treatment.
Okay.
You're going to pack the wound.
Yeah.
So things we talked about before with the gauze and the Curlex, we want to pack it.
Yeah.
Because a bullet hole becomes a tunneling wound.
Right.
And that's not something you just staple shut.
Yeah. That was my thought. Right. I would have just stapled it shut and been like, you're good, it's shut.
So the problem with that is that when you have a tunnel, your body will heal from the top down, and you're going to create an abscess.
Okay.
And it's actually going to be worse. So it actually has to heal from the inside and then work its way out.
Okay. Okay.
So that's why you pack it and you're changing it, and it's going to help that healing process.
Okay.
Now, if you're shot anywhere in the torso,
right,
it's a little different because you can't tourniquet it.
Okay.
Okay, so at that point, it's packing.
Yeah.
You're going to be stuffing the wound.
Okay.
Hopefully you don't hit anything vital, lung, heart, kidneys, liver, even a gut wound.
Yeah.
If your gut shot.
It doesn't work out in the movies too well.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
The gut is a very gross place.
Yeah.
And so when you hit that and all that bacteria gets out, you're going to get a mass infection. And unless you get to a hospital, odds of surviving are
pretty low.
Very little.
So if you get shot pretty much in the chest and you can't go to a hospital, your odds aren't good.
It varies.
Okay.
If it hits an organ,
so I keep them all.
Yeah,
I keep them all.
You need all your organs.
Right.
So heart, lungs, any of the vital organs, your chance of survivability is low.
Okay.
If it doesn't, because you don't know really.
Yeah.
Until you die from it.
Right.
So if you hit in the heart, death is pretty imminent.
Right.
Not likely to live long after that.
Okay.
That's why center of mass shots are preferred.
Right.
Because you're going to be hitting your heart, which is right here.
Yeah.
So center of mass is right in there. A lot of your vital organs, spine, shoot stop, essentially. It's a big target to hit.
Yeah.
Peripheral.
Yeah.
Like a good chance of survival. The shoulder shot.
Right. Always in the movies. It's always in the shoulder, the arm.
And the arm, which you will probably survive, but there's so many nerves going through here. So if you're shot in the shoulder, you probably won't use the arm very well going from that point forward.
Yeah.
But again, if you're shot, pack it.
Okay. So you pack the gauze in it. Mm-hmm. You maybe put the compression bandage on it. Maybe a little quick clot. And then, once again, if it's Shtf, you can't call the ambulance. So once the bleeding stopped, what are you going to do when you get back to your shelter? You crawl, you're back in your cave, your tent. So you pull, you tell me.
So you're gonna have to pull.
Okay, so you pull the gauze out.
So I don't do it immediately. Give it like a day.
Okay.
If you happen to have antibiotics on hand,
Jace Medical.
We
got the Jace Medical kit.
Not sponsored by them.
No.
That is an option.
Right.
Prior to the laws changing, you could have ordered some fish antibiotics.
Right, fish mux.
Yep. And those work just as fine as human.
Yeah.
So you want to start dosing.
Yeah.
I would recommend getting a book on dosing the different antibiotics.
Okay.
Just to look at how much you should take and when you should take it.
Okay.
Because it'll vary on the antibiotic.
Yeah.
This is going to help keep infection away. Okay. So the bullet of itself.
What if it's still in there?
So unless it's pushing on something vital.
Yeah.
It's just leave it.
This is part of you now. You own it.
If if you start digging around looking for a bullet.
Right, you always see that in the movie. They get the tweezers out, or the guy sticks his finger in there.
Sticks his finger in there. No.
No.
Because the more you dig in there, the more likely you are for infection. The more likely you're gonna nick another vessel.
Okay.
If you got lucky and you didn't hit an artery or vein,
right,
and you're not bleeding out,
you're still alive.
You're still alive. You sticking your finger in there and digging around, you're going to open something and it's not going to go well for you.
Okay, and this is obviously SHTF apocalypse only.
Yeah.
Normal situation, you get shot, you call 911.
Yeah, absolutely.
But if that's not an option.
But you're on your own.
Right.
So if you have help, it's nice.
Right. You always want a group.
You always want a group.
With a medic. Nurse.
A medic, someone that can help you out. So you're going to be taking out that packing.
Okay.
Like every day.
Yeah.
And you're going to have to repack it.
Yeah.
You can put sterile saline in the acrylics when you're stuffing it. And you want to make sure everything is clean.
Yeah.
And then you just repackage. And then it'll take a few weeks for that to heal up properly.
Okay. Okay.
But if you didn't hit anything vital and you don't get a raging infection,
right,
you're probably going to live.
Okay. Interesting. All right. So at what point do you stitch? Or do you not stitch?
So from these, you don't want to stitch because of the abscess issue, so you're actually going to let it heal from the bottom up, and that's what the packing is going to do.
Okay, interesting. All right. So what if it goes all the way through? Same deal, you're still packing? Same deal,
still
like
packing.
From both sides,
Both
basically.
sides.
Oh, interesting. Okay. So you need a lot of gauze to jam in.
You're going to need a lot of gauze. Gauze is usually the most used item in any medical situation.
Okay.
Between stopping bleeding, to cleaning areas, to packing. So if you're going to get something, get a lot of gauze.
Get a lot of gauze. Okay. Okay, excellent. And then you got the gauze in there. I lost what I was going to say. I had something on that, right? So you're doing the gauze. You don't stitch it up. At what point do you stop compression, or do you always keep compression on it?
Compression is to stop bleeding.
Okay, so once the bleeding stops.
Once the bleeding stops,
all right.
Usually that day after when you're pulling the packing out, all the major vessels should have stopped by now.
Okay.
You may not get bleeding on a lot of bullet wounds.
All right.
Might be just more of an oozing.
Yeah.
So unless it hits something major, and then you have other issues.
Okay. All right.
Compression will help clot off major arteries or vessels.
But when it's clot, once it's clot, it's clot. You don't have to keep the compression on it.
You just do have to be careful when you're pulling the packing out. If it's attached to one of those vessels and it starts bleeding, you're just going to put pressure back on it again.
Okay, interesting. All right. I didn't know that. I would have made the assumption you just want to stitch it up and stop the bleeding and you're good.
No, last thing you want to do is
survive. I would have died of dysentery.
Dysentery.
I would have died of dysentery.
Yep.
All right, Jason, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Once again, guys, this is Jason. Welcome to the channel, and thank you guys, and thank you for watching. We appreciate you.